to Watches Tonight here on Watchbox Studios. We've got a great slate this evening, and I'm going to give you something worthwhile. That's right, our Colt Skyracer giveaway has ended. First, remember who pays for that watch and these pixels. Please visit thewatchbox.com, our home on the web. 1,700 late model, pre-owned, luxury, and vintage watches available 24 hours a day, and we are global on thewatchbox.com. Plus, you can watch my videos. All right, we were giving away a Breitling Colt Skyracer. And the only thing better than our picture graphic of the Colt Skyracer is the actual watch that I am now going to give away. We had 8,000 unique entrants in this giveaway, and the watch now, a $2,000 retail value, a quartz chronometer, 100 meters water resistant with unidirectional bezel and active warranty. That's right, we are signing the card up for you guys. This watch goes to Josh Slimmer of New York, New York. Josh, a man from my own hometown. All you've got to do is react to the email and respond to our entreaty that we are sending right now to your email address. Just respond, acknowledge, and we're going to send this straight to your door. You will be getting the full boxed set, and I will be sending this 2017 Breitling Chronologue that happens to include the Skyracer to your address. So you're getting the full suite, absolutely everything that comes with this watch. Josh, thank you so much. And all the rest of you who entered, you are not forsaken, as we will be giving away another watch, and then another, and then another. If you're already entered, you're already in, but otherwise continue. We will have a new link and a new contest for next week's show. Okay. Jumping forward, batting practice, warming up your monitor with your pitches and my cuts. Okay, first things first, guys. All who are joining me, we're going with Time to Run. This is our catalog of the worst from far flung around the web, the worst watch listings around, and we're going to start with a YouTube shout out from Burning Mr. B, a viewer of ours, who needs to be my agent. He found a German watch vendor advertising a watch with a frame grab from my own video of a PAM 514. Ghost inventory at best, false advertising at worst. And I need to really start working on my German introduction to do their videos, but until then, just assume they don't have that watch. All right. Let me see, who's joining us from around the world? Let me see who is in our live box now. Bum, 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 bum. My computer must be delayed. Okay. In any case, guys, can we check the stream health just to make sure this is actually streaming? Okay. That's lazy, but this Italian listing will have you rolling with laughter. This Lange 1 is being priced at 6,700 euros, so this is being priced like the real deal, although a little too low if you do work it out into dollars. Advertised as real, and it boasts the trifecta of an enormous dog hair, mad fingerprints, millinery-inspired offset hands, thanks to AP, and a Lange panorama datum from hell. That's kind of what we're dealing with here. Of course, a Lange caseback is almost impossible to fake. And that said, this one does not disappoint. The guy tried, apparently. Try not to laugh. Okay, I'll let you judge his success. Counterfeit watch, but real thanks to Kenny R. for spotting this horological hilarity. Let me refresh my box, see if anyone is joining me in the live chat. And before we quite jump to our next feature, I want to see that someone is in there, because... Am I logged in as Watchbox Studios? Okay, this is the big one, guys. Okay, may I present to you the worst eBay listing of all time? From the top, guys, from the top. Okay, here it is. Enamel, really? Because that's what email means in French, and even my mom can see that's a silvered metal guilloche dial. But that's the least of this train wreck. It's a Reverso tourbillon, and we know because it says so right on the dial. This is supposed to be easy, and they make it so by printing it right where you can see it. But that didn't dissuade this particular seller who still managed to list the watch for a market-correct $45,000, but the watch is described as a Grand Reverso, which is also not correct because it's not that either. Apparently, this seller also substitutes exclamation marks, if we can call up that listing one more time, for the numeral 1, which inspires all kinds of confidence. Moreover, this particular epic fail has an item-specific section that's wrong or contradictory 9 separate times. Okay, age of watch, wrong. It's from 1994, not 2009. Crocodile, wrong. The strap is an alligator. Brown or black strap, who knows? May as well go with both. Features, timekeeping tech. Well, I assume that runs, but I wonder. 23 jewels listed. The case back is stamped 27, and it's even written out in words. Incredibly, the listing features omitted power reserve and tourbillon. So it actually says features, and it omits both the power reserve indicator and the tourbillon on a tourbillon watch. The dial, which is silver, is listed as pink, and I guess that settles that. At this point, does anyone even care that the water resistance is listed at 3 ATM for this 2 ATM watch? Hell, I'm just happy they expressed it in meters of water, not tomato soup. Okay, this one was unearthed by yours truly, still listed on the web for your enjoyment and comic pastime. Okay. Guys, now we have time to run. Send your Hall of Shame candidates to mondaymailbag@thewatchbox.com. And thank you for the tips, all who participated. Okay. Han J asks, Tim, what are the most accurate mechanical watch movements? Okay, I'll give you 4 that I consider to be front of the pack. I'm not including Seiko's spring drive because on reflection, it is a hybrid system and I'm going with pure mech here. It has to be powered by a spring with no electronics whatsoever. First, let me assure you that a chronometer grade ETA 28242 and derivatives will body slam almost anything when adjusted by a master, and I've seen this in practice, but you really need to check the results of the International Concours de Chronométrie. 2011, 2013, 2015, short of the haute de gamme like Grubel Force, it's basically Tissot every year with a version of the 2824. Okay, you have seen it in millions of Breitling Super Ocean watches over the year, built for decades. Excellence is more obtainable than you think. You can easily get these to run better than 1 second per day on the wrist. Okay, Omega 8900 series. The Omega 8900 series can be found in the Omega Constellation Globemaster, but also many, many other references, including divers and including a broad range of Omega automatics. Now, here's the thing. To be fair, the preceding 8500 coaxial family, which came out in 2007, was able to run 0.3 seconds to 0.5 seconds per day out of the box. That was before Meta's full watch chronometer certification and before Omega's SI14 silicon hairspring technology was introduced, so it's only gotten better since then. 8900s and the chronograph equivalent can run as well as anything short of a quartz oscillator. Okay. Zenith caliber CO342. This is the bleeding edge of tech right now. A unitary harmonic oscillator formed from silicon, vibrating at 108,000 vibration per hour or 15 hertz. It's the equivalent of 3 times a Zenith El Primero, which you already know is very high beat, 10 beat per second movement. So it's all powered by a spring and devoid of electronics, but the result, according to those who have handled the first 10 production watches, is an honest 0.3 seconds per day, which is pretty much the limit of what's technically or theoretically possible today. And this is the only result on the wrist that I have to admit I haven't tested firsthand, but you can find it in the Dayfi lab, which Little Bird tells me is going to be serialized for mainstream consumption soon. All right, FP Journe caliber 1510. Friends of FP Journe, the man lives up to his billing. This is his best case scenario chronometer. Caliber 1510 is 15 French lean, work started in 2010, and it is a stacked deck of accuracy tech. Breguet overcoil hairspring for resistance to gravitational-induced timing deviation, twin mainspring barrels for even torque from full wind to minimum, unlubricated double direct impulse escapement out of titanium for minimal frictional loss, remontoir d'égalité linear spring, constant force meter for the escapement, and adjusted in a chronometer busting 6 positions. All are formidable in isolation. Together, this is like an Avengers watch. It's the best of all the superpowers combined. FP Journe has often described this movement as the most accurate mechanical watch he can build, but too thick for his tastes. He said, I'll do it once, I don't want to do it like this again. I'll also say I've seen them run 0.5 seconds per day in 6 positions on a chronoscope. So again, FP Journe walking the walk and talking the talk in equal measure, maybe even under-promising and over-delivering. All right, Vincent T asks, Tim, who makes the most satisfying dive bezels? I'm talking sharp, crisp, precise, a feeling that inspires both confidence and a sense of money spent. Okay, Panerai. Nothing at all grips and rips like a Panerai Luminor Submersible. From the first example, the PAM 25 of 1998, there has been a sense of substance and rifle-like feedback from the action of the Submersible series. Even the luxury PAM 684 that I videotaped the other day evokes belt-fed machine guns and F1 grade socket wrenches. These are the best and the loudest bezels by far in the dive class. Doxa provides the only real competition for Panerai's death grip on grip and action. If loud and sharp is your game, Doxa gives you the loudest combination of dial and watch combined. And that's a personal favorite of mine. I also have to say, even better, Doxa offers by far the best knurled grip on its bezels, and the slip factor is nearly non-existent with these. They are very good. Plus, the decompression scale is cool wrist graffiti, even if it's a bit technically outdated by 2018 standards. Pricing is a fraction of what you'll pay for any Panerai Submersible Series watch, and the just announced $2,190 Sub 300C Rambler Silver Lung limited edition might be just what the doctor ordered if you want to get into a Doxa Sub for under $2,200 new with a chronometer certificate. All right, Rolex. This one's more of a study in refinement, I have to admit, but unlike Blancpain, Grand Seiko, and Chopard, all of which have favored refinement over ratchet feel, Rolex's bezel still communicates a large measure of mechanical soul. Panerai and Doxa accept a raucous ratchet that Rolex wouldn't countenance in 2018, but the Rolex bezel remains a standard of reference by balancing the outwardly incompatible collector calls for sharp springs and lugubrious luxury. For acting and balancing that balancing act, Rolex makes the cut. Acing and balanced in equal measure, luxury and sharpness. This is an impressive Rolex watch. Okay, viewer wrist shots. Shannon S. from Germany wears a steel watch at the Green Hell at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. You can see the 144 turns of the world's scariest circuit behind his Amvox 2 DBS. Eddie L. sports a literal wrist clock, his Jaeger LeCoultre Atmos atmospheric clock, which he actually purchased in York, Pennsylvania at the NAWCC meetup. Matt F. takes us back to the fatherland with his Glasuta Original Sport Evo. And you can see BMW 535 with his Sport Evo Chrono, and James L. joins us from Budapest with his Rolex Submariner in front of St. Stephen's Basilica. The watch was a reward for a foreign assignment that he earned. Wear it in good health abroad, James. All right, send your wrist shots to mondaymailbag@thewatchbox.com. Let's see, do we have a live audience yet? How's our stream going? I'm going to take your word for it. Okay, primary feature tonight, 10 for 10, give or take. I'm going to throw out the number and just say these are objectively the top watch designs of the last decade. And where did this come from? Well, U.S. collector car insurance specialist Hagerty recently named the Tesla Model S as the car of the decades for the 2010s. And it's hard to argue, by any measure other than production volumes and profitability, this has been a transformational product. Objectively fun to drive, desirable, and at the same time transformational. Even if Tesla went belly up tomorrow, the Model S will have basically changed the landscape, and its legacy will be millions of electric Audis, Benzes, and BMWs. So, herewith, my choices from among the most innovative, influential, and outright beautiful designs of the last decade, because this is an emotional hobby, so let's indulge that impulse, throw out engineering, and just make this about design. A matter of the heart, not the head. First, FP Journe Chronometre Bleu, first shown in late 2009, but a 2010 model year watch, so it makes our cut. Can a brand's entry-level watch also be its flagship for the entire line? With all respect to the Sonnerie Souveraine, the answer is an unqualified yes. This watch has sold out every year that's been offered, and you can buy a Journe Tourbillon on demand without a wait, but a Chronometre Bleu order means getting on a wait list, and that's something special. So seductive is this base metal tantalum case and hybrid metallic lacquer dial that the customary show-stealing solid gold Journe caliber is actually a supporting act here, and that's saying something because this thing is an eyeful. Now, I'll also say, how hard is it to build and finish a watch with this particular combo of dial and case? Almost a decade after the late 2009 reveal of the Chronometre Bleu and a golden era of blue dials for the industry at large, no other brand has replicated this thing in order to poach Journe's waitlist, and that's pretty impressive. As an act of craft, finish, and industrial process, this thing is very difficult to copy, and I give Journe a lot of credit for it. Okay, Bethune DB28 2011. This one plays to a smaller crowd, but it's all the more special for its rarity. And one of its distinctions includes a GPHG award jury that voted the DB28 the Aiguille d'Or in 2011, the best picture equivalent at the Oscars of watchmaking, the Grand Prix of Geneva. A 6-day power reserve, proprietary shock protection, proprietary hairspring, balance wheel, all bridges, plates, and the now iconic floating lugs, which of course you can see in one of my old watch videos because that's how I roll, really demonstrated a rare combination of virtuosity in design, ergonomics, and engineering. That's an uncommon combination, especially when you throw in the sheer imagination inherent in this case shape. Ultimately, this design was more spectacular and haunting than influential. Few were bold enough to follow de Bethune's lead, but 7 years later, the DB28 has become the brand's signature, and the basic shape continues to spawn dream watches. For 150 people a year, these will remain a rare pleasure. Okay, do we have a picture of that last DB28? There we go. That is a true dream watch. Okay, Panerai Luminor Submersible 1950 3 Days Automatic PAM 382. The Bronzo, guys. 2011, 1,000 pieces. This was Panerai's first of 3 Bronzos, and easily the only one you saved from the sinking ship. Now, Panerai limited editions blow hot and cold. Some are purely derivative. Most are forgotten, truth be told, unless you look on Panerai's corporate archive. And perhaps once per decade, Panerai launches a watch like the original Bronzo. More than any other watch of our time, this one is the root of the modern fad for bronze cases, bezels, and parts of all descriptions. An incredible synergy between Panerai's core design DNA, none of which is corrupted or lost in this design, and a nautically themed aging material. The PAM 382's bronze case and bezel changes with the owner over time as though it were living tissue, and that's truly special because they were really the first on board with the idea that your watch is going to age and quickly, and that's a good thing. Alongside an olive drab green dial that's a nice nod to Panerai's historic military history, this is one of the watches people will remember, and not just from the Angelo Bonatti era at Panerai, but this era of watch design as a whole. A truly special piece and truly influential by any measure. Okay, Rolex GMT Master 2 116710 BLNR. How do you alter an ageless icon, create a new one, and alienate no purists in the process? Well, Rolex knows how, and Rolex did it in 2013 with this landmark watch. The first ever use of blue on a ceramic bezel Rolex GMT, and the first ever black and blue Rolex GMT of any description. Can you believe this 2013 watch still has a wait list and that it still sells over retail when pre-owned? After all of that, can you believe that this entire model, the whole thing, all the hype, all the waitlisting, and all the price premiums amounts to 1/2 a bezel and the GMT hand? That's all it is. impressive. If you're going to tinker just a little bit, Rolex got maximum effect for minimum input, and I'm impressed. Sometimes the most powerful design is subtle. Okay, Ressence Type 3. Here's another watch that was just an eye-popper like the de Bethune. Maybe not the most influential watch, but one that defined its brand and absolutely deserves to be spoken of as one of the great designs of our decade. So the Ressence Type 3 of 2013. Like de Bethune, this wasn't the Belgian-Swiss brand Ressence first watch. The Type 3 is a design that came to become the face of Ressence. The ROCS planetary dial has been around since the first Ressence watch in 2010, the original Type 1, but filling the dial with oil created a seamless and dewdrop-like bubble profile that almost defies both description and photography. You need to see this one in person to get the full effect, but you get some sense of it. It's almost like a piece of magic that you can hold in your hand and wear on your wrist. You need to see it in person because the index of refraction for the oil and the sapphire is almost the same. So it has this incredible dewdrop-like flawless read, almost as though the sapphire and the oil both are not there, and you're staring into some sort of black hole of gloss and gleam. It even exhibits shocking lume at night. This is one of the most undersold advantages of a Ressence Type 3. Ultimately, evolutions like the Type 5 diver and the 2013 Type 3 with the temperature gauge would move the ball, but it was that first breakthrough, 2003 Ressence Type 3, and we're talking the opposite of Rolex here, and unlike MB&F, Harry Winston, HYT, Urwerk, and others that try so hard to tweak displays to the point of contrivance, the Ressence is organic, balanced, beautiful, fluid is the word. Okay, Patek Philippe 5235. By the way, guys, stick with me in the live chat. I can't see it now, but I'm going to read all your comments afterwards, so stay with me. Help me get those numbers and comments up so I can see what you had to say after the fact. The Patek Philippe regulator, we first saw it at 2011's Baselworld. We didn't get our hands on it till 2013, and several times production was started and stopped because it was so hard to make. Forget all of that. The engineering aside, never mind the caliber 31260 REG, because this one is all about the brushed dial. With its industrial chic silver grain, almost looks like something you would see in a nuclear power plant or the skin of a DeLorean car. This watch is an absolute bombshell from the super conservative Patek. It's not an Aquanaut, it's not a Nautilus, it's not a Grand Complication. Hell, you can get this watch new for less than the price of a 5711 pre-owned. Guys, absolutely crazy stuff right here. The razor-sharp case and the lugs, so undersold in a watch that's all about the dial, but if you look at it, it is almost sharp enough to cut you, and all of that borrowed lovingly from Patek's vintage 3448 perpetual calendar of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, without cribbing its style or turning the regulator into a tribute watch. Okay, guys. The near greats, we've got a few that didn't quite make the cut, but I want to give them a shout out because they were special and worthwhile in their own right. And this is all arbitrary, it's all down to me. So if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. And again, I'm going to chat as much as possible, and I'm going to see if I can get the live stream up right there. My guys are telling me go to the live stream and try to open it up. I'm not seeing it now, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm going to read everything you write. Okay, the near greats. Louis Vuitton Escale Worldtime 2015. This one was an eye-popper back in the day. I have to say, a manually lacquered, keep that graphic up, guys, an oven-cured artisanal dial. This one was both hand-painted and excruciatingly fabricated over 50 hours of work. That's kind of crazy, guys, and I have to admit, I underestimated this watch when I first saw it, but it's built by the same people who fabricate and design Laurent Ferrier movements. A hand-painted dial required all that time and effort to execute, referenced Louis Vuitton's. If you look at the dial, it actually has nautical pennants that reference travel, Louis Vuitton famous for their travel trunks, and the assembly of the case also referenced the travel trunks. So strong design DNA here that links it to the brand's better-known products while also breaking new ground with the world time complication and the scrolling hours and minutes. I love this watch. NOMOS Zurich Weltzeit Nachtblau. In 2014, this one was an eye-popper, though based on an existing platform. The late Hannes Wettstein's Zurich design was combined with the GMT in 2011, and in 2004 the sensational Nachtblau or Night Blue joined the quiver. This is the definitive version. It has strong lugs, like but not exactly like a vintage Hoyer Carrera, and so much more compelling than anything TAG makes today. Plus, bonus points, it's a GMT watch without a date. Okay, Bulgari Octo Finissimo Automatic, a near great because Bulgari inherited this case design from the Gerald Genta manufacturer that it bought. That said, the final execution of the wafer-thin 5.5mm thick automatic, the serendipitous integration of bracelet and case, and the shock of taking it in hand and feeling a watch that's almost like a cotton ball on your wrist generates a shout out from my corner. No virtuoso design that's truly worthwhile is thinner, and no watch that is thinner stuns like this one. Alright guys, I can suddenly see my live chat. Thanks to my crew for getting me on board with what's happening now. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about the slow start, but we've got one more truly special shout out to an honorable mention, and that's the Omega Gray Side of the Moon. 2014's follow-up, the Omega Gray Side of the Moon, was the sequel to the Dark Side of the Moon, which started the ceramic Moonwatch movement in 2013, but the Gray Side was a better design all around. It was just stronger, more coherent, more elegant, and the full platinum grained dial. A wonderfully textured, pebbly, rusticated finish was just hauntingly beautiful and endlessly engrossing. You could loop the dial of this Omega and it would actually be worth your while. A loomed tack compared to the non-loomed tack of the Dark Side brought this one to life at night, and the gentle effervescence of gray ceramic, in my opinion, elevated the Gray Side above the novelty status of the Dark Side. Omega's second act was more beautiful and versatile, and I believe it will age better than its Vader-esque predecessor. Okay. Guys, I can see you now. All the chat. Oh my gosh. True Lie, Moro, Hello, Colin, M. Fenimore, Rory, Fjord Prefect, JBO, Steve, Colin, Philip, Zach. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the slow start. Okay. And I can see Philip saying, Octo is a silly cool watch. Try it on. It's a work of skinny art. I could not agree more. Best article of the week. But before we go there, let me just let you know my retort. Back up, guys. My retort to the Tesla Model S, which in my opinion is going to be the best car of the decade for those of you who think with the left brain. With the right brain, the artistic side of me says the best design of the decade was the horribly flawed and endlessly gorgeous Fisker, later Karma Revero. Oh my god, that is so gorgeous. I briefly owned one, and I wish I still had it. It would be a paperweight by now, but it would be a gorgeous paperweight. Okay, best article of the week. SJX, you're up now. Okay, link in the description, hands-on with the Cartier Santos 2018 edition by one of the bards of the watch journalist fraternity. SJX, a connoisseur and a writer of unparalleled skill and insight. A quick and insightful read about the history of the Santos line, features of the new model family, and a critical analysis of the quality that Cartier has delivered. I have to say that the discussion includes a usefully illustrated comparison of Santos sports watches over time, and in 1904, this really was the first sports watch, so it is truly a comparison of sports watches, even though the Santos is often regarded as a dressier piece. It also features the most coherent explanation I've seen of the new Cartier Smart Link system that allows you to size and, yes, size a bracelet. Not just remove it, but actually remove links using only your fingernail. It is very cool. It works incredibly well, and I tried a rough prototype. That felt pretty finished. You're going to be very satisfied when you take this in hand, and there's a great illustration of it here. Now, guys I've spoken to haven't been this excited about a new Cartier watch since the Roadster still rolled on the open road. With quick-release lugs, the sizable bracelet system, 100-meter water resistance, and some tough automatic in-house calibers, the new Cartier Santos might be the next best thing to the Roadster revival we all seem to want on the fora. Okay, viewer wrist shots, here goes. Rich S. flaunts his Chromolite Lume on a Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. That's the full 42, rarely placed on an accessory strap. I love the way Rich has this one arrayed. He charged it up while mowing the lawn, I am told. Eduardo D. braves Mexico City traffic like a true pilot with his Breguet Type 20. So you can see that is the 3800 Aeronaval, the flyback and the purest modern iteration of the Type 20. And the first appearance of a Mitsubishi on our channel feature, as far as I know. Miles R. does the heroic and drives with a, or I should say dives, after our driver, he dives with a dive watch. A ghosted bezel veteran SMP Diver 300 meter chronograph, no less. Really sharp. Looks like it held up well. Hopefully held up well. That's pre-dive right there. Itai F is USA bound with his new Rolex Submariner no date. Purchased at the Frankfurt Airport Rolex store. Welcome home, Itai. And Craig D takes our show home for the evening with a power play. Patek Philippe 5070p. Be still my heart. That's the one to own. I can't top that, and neither can any of our viewer wrist shots, so I'm saving you for next week. Everyone, send your wrist shots to Monday Mailbag at thewatchbox.com. I know, it's Watches Tonight now. We need a new email address. Also, send me your time to run bad listings to that email address. Guys, thank you so much. Comment, subscribe if you haven't already. They're the crew. I'm Tim. This is Watches Tonight from Watchbox Studios. Time out, Tim out, and thanks for logging on.